Okay, for this question here, if we take a look at it, you have a triangle and you try to fill in whatever information you can at first, whatever it tells you. In this, so it says we have a radius of 4, so I know OA is 4 and OC is 4, so from here to here. So if I take my pen and I draw that, I know that from here to here is 4, and then from here to here is 4. So fill in the detail whenever you can. And then the other detail it tells us is we have 0.3 radians there, and we have an angle of 0.8 radians there. Okay, fine. So find AD. So I'm just going to color in AD so I can see what I'm looking for. It wants you to find this here. All right, so we have a non-right angle triangle, so I'm thinking either SAS or crisscross. So if you've learned SAS or crisscross with me, you apply those ideas. And currently, if we try to do side angle side, it doesn't work because we need the rest of this side, the whole length of that side. So that's not going to work. So if I think about crisscross, let me take another color here to see if I have crisscross. Crisscross would be this angle in that side and this angle with this side. So now I see that I have one unknown. I'll call this X. Out of these 4, I have one unknown, so I know that I have the sine rule. So part A, I'm going to have, let's see, 4 over sine of 0.3. And that's equal to X, which we don't know, over sine of 0.8. So that's just the sine rule. So if we cross multiply up there, we're going to have 4 times sine of 0.8 over sine of 0.3. So let's see if we take our calculator out here. All right. Just 1 second here as I load up the calculator again. All right. So we have 4. Oh, let me check, just make sure I'm in the right mode. Yep, I'm in radians. So we have 4 times sine of 0.8 equals, and then divided by sine of 0.3. And we get 9.709. So to 3 significant figures, we have to make sure it's in 3 significant figures. We're going to have 9.71. So we have 9.71. That's this side here, 9.71. All right. Next, it wants us to find OD. So OD, I'm going to use a different color. And I'm going to go from here all the way out to there. So that's our green line. I'm going to try and find it in green. So B. And then now that I have some extra sides, I can try to figure this out now. Crisscross would be across here. I'll do crisscross with green. So if I wanted to, let's see if I have a side angle side. So I have this side, and no angle in between. And then if I have crisscross, I can do A across from this side, and once again 0.3 across from this side. But there's only one problem, is that I'm missing angle A. But we know in a triangle there is the sum of all the angles is 180 degrees, but we've learned now that pi is the same thing as 180, but in radians. So if we go pi minus 0.8 minus 0.3, we'll get angle A. And then we can apply angle A into our sine rule. And our angle, what we're going to have is our sine. So let's just quickly figure that out. If I go second function pi minus 0.3 and 0.8, so minus 0.3 minus 0.8, and that gives us 2.041. And I'm going to make sure that I use this 2.04159. I'm going to make sure I use the long version of this answer here so that my significant figures isn't affected. So we can do that after with our calculator. So now that I have this value of this angle, we're going to go OD over sine of this value, which is angle A. So A and D, that's our criss. And our cross is 4 over sine of 0.3. And once again, we're going to cross multiply this across. I'm just going to use my calculator and figure that out now. So if I clear this, this time though I want to use this value here, I'm going to use the long value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 4 times the sine of, and I'm going to pull this value from the top so that I'm not off when I'm rounding later on. And then I'm going to divide that by sine of 0.3. So sine of 0.3. And that gives me 12.06 or 12.1 three significant figures. So in this case, my OD is 12.1. Next, find the area of sector OABC. So that's, if I were going to color this, I'll just quickly color it so we can see. It's this sector here. All right. I'm just going to take that off so we can see. And the area of sector is equal to 1/2 theta r squared. And we have all this information we need. So 1/2 0.84 squared. So make sure you put all this down for your method marks. If we do that, 0.8 times 0.5 times 4 squared is 16. And we get 6.4. And what's our unit? Centimeters squared. And then it says find the area of region A, B, C, D. So in this case, they're talking about this colored bit here without the sector. So if that's the case, what we should do is find the area of the whole triangle minus the area of the sector, and that will give us the area of A, B, C, D in this case. So area of A, B, C, D. All right. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 AB sine C. So I told you that this should be side angle side. So in this case, we have, let's see, what am I going to use? I'm going to use the side OD. So I'm going to redraw this triangle so you can see it better. So the triangle kind of looks like this. I'm going to use 4. My OD is 12.1 and my angle in between here is 0.8. So I'm going to use side angle side and use that for this. So I have 4. In here it's going to be 12 point, and in this case it's going to be O, and it's going to be all the decimal places here. So I'm going to make sure I don't use 12.1. I'm going to use the non-rounded version of it, which is up here, 12.06 when I do this calculation. And then I'm going to subtract the area of the sector, which I found above here. So if I go to my calculator, I have 0.5 times 4 times this number up here times sine of the angle 0.8. And I'm going to subtract, in this case, my area which I found up here, which was 6.4. And I get a value of 10.9 to 3 significant figures. So 6.4. And that gives me, once again, 10.9 centimeters squared. So if I box everything in here so I can see all my answers, there's my answer for D. Here's my answer for C. Here's my answer for A. And then that's my answer for B. So that's how you do this question here.